Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another session with APF. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Sally, and I will be talking to you tonight a little bit about stress on the holidays. So I'm going to turn the music down, and then we'll get right into it. Okay, so today was a big full day of Christmas shopping. And we have a great big giant mall out here in California called Ontario Mills, and it's a giant like football track, a giant circle, and it gets pretty packed in there, and a lot of pushing, shoving, people coming at you, buy this and try that and la la la. And so anyways, during these holiday times and this season, it's very tempting for a lot of people to slip into stress, maybe a little bit of depression, they feel lonely. All the demands of the holidays gets them like really tired and worn out. And so there is a hormone in your body that kind of covers over and regulates the stress. And so for those that follow me on Facebook, thank you very much. You hear me preach and talk all the time about this thing called cortisol. Okay, so what is cortisol? Cortisol is sort of like your stress regulator, okay? It works directly with the pituitary gland located right here in the dead center of your brain. Now, this pituitary gland also works in conjunction with something that sits right on top of your kidneys that's about the size of a walnut. And that, again, that's like another thing that you hear me constantly, preaching about is your adrenal glands. Okay, so let's get back to cortisol first. I don't want to make this a really long video and hear me on and on and on all night. Okay, so cortisol is sort of like when a bear hibernates or squirrels start gathering nuts for the winter. Okay, when you're under a lot of stress, whether it be from work, or you just maybe had a bad breakup from a boyfriend. Okay, I've seen a few people going through this over and over, and I've watched their weight up and down, up and down. And you ever notice how like when someone's in a good mood, they're looking good and they're slimming down, but yet when they've hit kind of a low in life, that's when the weight kind of packs on. And it's not always because there's stuff in their face or they're emotionally eating. That's not always the truth, okay? So we have something called cortisol, and cortisol gives us that fight or flight syndrome, okay? So that's what causes like a mother when she sees like, something has just landed on her child and she's able to like pick up a car or a really heavy object and just, we get super angry and we just send something great big and just send it flying across the room like it was like a feather, like it weighed nothing, right? Okay, so when you work out and you're eating right for the most part and you're pretty healthy and you have lots of stamina, when you have just this like big thing of energy, that's when your cortisol kicks in and gives you like superpowers, okay? It can also work outside of your favor, okay? So it can either work for you or against you. And so like I said, when you're going through some really stressful times, this thing called cortisol will help you to pack on the weight. And so bears use it when they hibernate, and it's like, you imagine like a squirrel gathering nuts, okay? Your body will start gathering and packing on the pounds from cortisol. So one of the best ways to kind of like, scave away from that and to protect yourself is to make sure that you are eating right and that you are exercising and that you're hanging around the right people. During these holiday times, if there are friends and family that, kind of treat you like you don't matter, or there's a lot of feuding and, just general, it might be time for a New Year's resolution to not just get healthy physically, but get healthy in your relationships. Because if you have a lot of heartbreak and a lot of stress going on in your life, and it's just this emotional roller coaster, okay? Then yeah, imagine, it's like being on a yo-yo diet when you're doing everything right. Okay, so the stress that affects your pituitary gland in turn hurts your adrenal glands. And this is why I have an absolute, like, no pills, no shakes, you know. I can understand like a little bit of vitamin water, or maybe, you know, you might take a supplement that kind of helps keep your emotions at bay. Simple, safe things, you know, I can kind of let that slide, but I'm talking like the weird, like, pre-workout protein and mixing all these chemicals in your water. You know, anti-pill, anti-shake, you just got to eat right and exercise. Another way to kind of help regulate that cortisol hormone, because face it folks, it's there. Your body makes it. You're not getting out of it. You know, you can't just take a pill that's anti-cortisol, you know, and you know, the less pills and supplements and things that you can take, the better. However, you know, I do believe in, you know, you should take your supplements, your vitamins and things to stay healthy, because I don't feel like there's enough nutrients in the soil under the sun to keep you well. But I'm talking about like the chemicals and stuff. Let's not abuse, okay? And for God's sakes, steroids, hormones, and injections, HGH, ever. Okay, so another way to get rid of the anti-cortisol reaction is to find a hobby, okay? You can only work out and eat right so much, you know, so you need to have some things to kind of keep you busy and keep you productive in life. You know, take a dance class or maybe a new language class. Get involved in some community projects, you know, maybe your local, you know, bird watching club, or, you know, maybe you should join like the 4-H club if that's still around, or volunteer somewhere. Let's see, what are some other good things? You know, usually there's a local community that helps with certain cultures and things. I happen to be a member of the STC Corporation, and so we you know, like to encourage and educate about the Chinese culture. And you know, you gotta just kind of find your niche in life, you know, something that you can dedicate some of your spare time to, and something that you're gonna really enjoy. And see, you know, it always helps to do like a daily joke, you know, laugh and smile, and most of all, breathe. So this is Sally. I just want to encourage you guys to clean up your relationships, stay committed to yourself, love yourself, eat healthy, exercise, and please Google more about the cortisol levels, because cortisol is going to be your #1 hormone that's going to help either work for you or against you. And so next time when we get together, I'll talk a little bit more about the adrenal glands and how they play almost an even bigger role, and so why it's super important to get educated about that, and why even, you know, too much of a good thing, too much of eating healthy, maybe too much exercise, those things also, there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. And again, your adrenal glands working together with your pituitary gland and the cortisol hormone. You can over-exercise. You can even actually over-exercise. Yes, you can. And that can cause a stress reaction. Anytime your body feels like it's under threat, whether it's emotionally, mentally, or physically from an attacker, or you've overworked and you've hurt a muscle, cortisol comes to the rescue. So be careful with keeping balance of your cortisol hormones. And anyways, this is Sally signing out. Thank you.